Welcome back to another Ramble with Rob intuitive tarot reading. Today we're going to be doing another pick a pile card tarot reading. In just a second I'm going to put on 3 different piles with 3 corresponding different crystal necklaces, and then it's up to you to use and trust your intuition to see which one you're drawn to first, and that will be your message from your spirit guides for the week ahead. Now, it is a timeless reading, so whenever you're seeing this, the message is still relevant. Let's get straight into the piles and see which one you're drawn to. So here are the 3 piles. The pile on the left is a citrine necklace. Pile number 2, the pile in the middle, is a guardian angel charm. And the pile on the right, pile number 3, is the rose quartz. So just take a nice deep breath and see which pile you're drawn to first. Welcome pile number 1. If you chose the citrine necklace, then this is your card reading. So it's for pile number 1, the pile on the left. And the card at the bottom of the pile was the King of Wands, which to me speaks about quite a few different things. So the first thing is acknowledging, first of all, that you have the ability to create whatever life it is that you're trying to create. And that goes quite hand in hand with the citrine crystal. It's all about attracting abundance, embracing our creativity. And as a Leo, it's also, for me, just a little bit of a confirmation that I'm on the right track. If I ever see a citrine necklace or I'm drawn to a piece of citrine jewelry or a crystal itself, I always take it as confirmation from the universe that I'm on the right track. There's something with me and citrine that works quite well. So it is a card for me of growth, a card of expansion, and in line with the crystal, that just speaks about a really expansive energy for this collective. So if you're feeling a little bit stuck right now, then fear not. There's something here that needs nourishing, and it has got a lot of potential to grow. But also the King of Wands to me speaks about shedding old versions of yourself as well. So let's see what the message is for your week ahead and what guidance your spirits want you to know. So the first one is that you can take action on whatever it is that you're being intuitively drawn towards. So if this was the Page of Wands, I'd be telling you that the universe is telling you to nourish yourself, nourish your energies, and basically get yourself to a point where you can take action on whatever it is that you're being drawn to. But it's not, it's the King of Wands. So the universe is confirming to you, your spirit guides are telling you that now is a really good time for you to start taking action on whatever it is that you're drawn towards. And for me, the Chariot speaks about doing so in a really protected way. So don't fear about stepping into your power, stepping into the limelight with the Hierophant. And again, this is another card for me of Leo. So there's heavy Leo and fire sign energy for this collective reading. So you could be a fire sign or have heavy fire signs in your chart. But it's all about acknowledging that you've got the ability to create whatever abundant life you want to create. The Hierophant to me speaks about doing things in a different way as well. So don't be scared to try something in a different way. There might be a much easier way of doing what you're already doing. So it's the whole think harder, or work smarter, not harder, for example. So make sure that you are looking at different ways of doing things, and you're also being comfortable with being seen as well. This really feels like a call to this collective to actually start taking action and putting themselves out there. There's no point reviewing where you're currently at and looking ahead, knowing that you're capable of achieving much more if you're not going to actually push yourself to go out there and create more or to actually do more. So please acknowledge that you already know that this current cycle isn't serving your highest purpose, or you're capable of achieving so much more abundance, and you know that because you keep reviewing your options and the different outcomes that are available to you. You just need to make sure that you're finding balance within your own energy. So find balance within your own energy in terms of don't give too much to people, or don't be all work or all play. You really need to find that balance between the two. And also make sure that you're giving energy to people who naturally uplift you and align with your vibration. There's no point forcing people or places to stay. But it's also important that although things can feel quite tense, or you feel stuck or stagnant, or like you're not quite in the reality that you're dreaming about, it's important that you acknowledge that there is a lot in day-to-day life to be grateful for, and we need to acknowledge the things that are going well. It's the whole looking for a silver lining in the day-to-day things. And I think it's really important that every single day we make gratitude lists, for example, and we say what we're grateful for, at least 3 things what we're grateful for, the reasons we're grateful for them, and why we're grateful for them. So make sure you're doing it from like a soul perspective rather than ego. So you don't want to say, I'm really grateful for my pay rise because now I can buy the boots I've been eyeing up, for example. It needs to be something more along the lines of, I'm grateful for my pay rise because it allows me to have a little bit more stability, or it brings me more security. So just make sure when you write your gratitude lists, you're putting your reason for your gratitude in a soul level rather than an ego level. And your next card is making sure that you're finding the balance in your reality. So there's 2 cards of balance here, one with your energy, one with finding the balance in your reality, and also making sure that your head and your heart are aligned with this goal as well. There's no point trying to force yourself to do something because you feel like it's the right thing to do or it's going to bring abundance. You need to really make sure that your head and heart are aligned so you can be fully committed to this goal. And the universe for your final card is reminding you that you are the sun. There's a lot of positivity, there's a lot of authenticity around you, and at the moment you're very radiant. That is the word I keep hearing. So make sure you acknowledge that you're in a really good position to create whatever it is that you're trying to create, and it's a really good time for you to start putting your energy towards something. So make sure that you are finding the motivation and the strength to actually move forward into a more abundant cycle, and you're actually having faith. I've just been drawn to this cross that the Hierophant's holding. Make sure you're having faith in not only yourself and your abilities, but also your ability to create with the universe, and that the universe is constantly looking out for you, regardless of how it might look or feel at any one time. Make sure that you're acknowledging that the universe has got your back, and you are constantly being realigned and aligning with the right opportunities rather than the wrong ones. So please do let me know if this reading resonated. I'd also appreciate if you could hit subscribe because it helps the readings reach a wider collective, and I will see you on the next one. Welcome pile 2. If you were drawn to pile 2 or the angel charm, the little pendant here, then this is your reading. And the card at the bottom of your deck was the Chariot. Now this goes hand in hand because obviously we've got the guardian angel charm on the necklace, and we've also got the Chariot. And the Chariot to me speaks about multiple different things, but one of the biggest things that it speaks about is being protected. So just know that whatever direction you're heading in at the moment, as tough as it might feel, you are heavenly protected. There's a lot of divine protection around you guys, and there's something about you. I don't know if something's been quite emotional for this collective at the moment, but there's something here about a healing heart, or there's love being sent to you on the wings of an angel. There's something there about love or a heart healing that's been paired with some wings. So just make sure that you're looking out for any signs or synchronicities, or if you do feel like you need a little bit of emotional healing right now, just acknowledge that your spirit guides are sending that to you. And the Chariot speaks to me about being protected, but also moving forward in a really balanced way. So just know that you shouldn't be scared about taking action on whatever it is that you're being called to take action towards. The universe is actively encouraging you to start moving towards this thing, and that's in line with the angel, the spirit guide protecting necklace, but also the Chariot there where you've got the protection from the 2 Sphinx cats at the bottom. The next card is the Wheel of Fortune, so further confirmation that now is a really good time for you to put your energies out there, and if there is something that you're being drawn towards, then it's important that you do take action on it. There's something about things turning in your favor, and again we've got quite a lot of protective symbols, and there's a bull or a cow in the bottom of this card as well, and it has got wings. It's a mythical bull, but just acknowledge that once again we've got some synchronicities there with some farm animals, so that could also be significant for this collective. It's really important that you break out of this 8 of Swords energy, and it could be that the wheel is turning and it's making you change your perspective of things so that you can free yourself from the 8 of Swords. But the 8 of Swords is one of my most hated cards for a few reasons. The first reason is you physically can't see a way forward through your own hardships or your own anxieties, but it's also trapping yourself by your own self-limiting beliefs and your own doubt, but it's also feeling like you've not got the resources to make something happen as well. So it literally is feeling like you're trapped in all areas. So this is confirmation that it's time to move, and I'm being drawn to the snake on the Wheel of Fortune. So make sure you're shedding any previous or old versions of yourself, and you're letting go of any self-limiting beliefs as well. It's really important that this collective sheds something. The gift to you is that you need to start changing your perspective. So this to me is, well, it is the 4 of Cups, but to me it speaks about 2 things. First of all, being so focused on what we've got that we can't see the gifts that the universe is putting in front of us, or we're so focused on a set outcome or a set way of doing things that we can't see that there's actually an easier way of moving forward. But for this collective, it really screams that you're so focused on the things that you've not got that you're failing to see the things that you've actually got. And the things that you've got are the things that you need to use in your favor. It's about changing your judgment. So again, your perspective. It's making sure that you're judging yourself in a really kind, fair and unbiased way, and you're empowering yourself to move forward. You need to actually be the person playing this trumpet, not the people who are lapping up the energy from this person. You want to be the person who the people are celebrating. So just make sure that you're empowering yourself to take action, and you're seeing a way forward as well. I'm just seeing on the Ace of Pentacles that there is a little pathway that's opened in this hedge. So although you might feel trapped with the Eight of Swords, there is a gift opening for you. There is some form of path that's being shown to you, or there is something unexpectedly being given to you, and that is what the Four of Cups could be as well. It doesn't have to be that you're so focused on what you've not got. It could be that the missing piece of the puzzle, the thing that you feel like you've not got, is actually being given to you by the universe. So again, make sure you're keeping an eye out for any signs and synchronicities, and you're fully listening to your intuition at this time. But you really need to remove any emotional bias when it comes to whatever it is that you're thinking about taking action on. There's something about you really needing to balance your emotions with this goal or with this thing that you're moving towards. And ultimately, you need to release any self-doubt and acknowledge that with this devil energy, you can free yourself by trusting your intuition, by standing in your Empress energy, nourishing the feminine energies within you. And that's not gender specific. We all have feminine and masculine energies within us. It's just about nourishing those parts so we're nice and balanced, and we know that we're truly aligning with our higher self, and we're trusting in our intuition and the guidance that's being given to us. So acknowledge that you can free yourself from these chains. You just need to trust in your intuition, and like Pile 1, you are well on your way to becoming the Hierophant. You just need to be comfortable with being seen and doing things in a different way. And I think that you first need to empower yourself to realize that you're capable of so much more, and you shouldn't be listening to friends or family members or anyone who's telling you any different, because the universe confirms that you've got everything in your power to actually make a really abundant cycle. You just need to start moving forward and seeing your own potential, and seeing that you are the Hierophant, and truly believing that you are a really powerful and magnetic person. Please do drop me a comment. Let me know if this reading resonated. I think this is a really empowering message, and I hope you do too. I'd also really appreciate if you could hit subscribe, because it helps the readings reach a wider collective. And I will see you on the next one, Pile 2. Welcome, Pile 3. If you were drawn to the rose quartz crystal or pile number 3, then this is your reading. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that rose quartz to me speaks about not only love as in a romantic connection, but also having that self-love as well. So it could be that you're either struggling with a romantic connection, or you're looking for a romantic partner, or it could be that you do need to have some form of self-love with yourself. You need to start loving you, empowering you, and seeing the beauty within yourself. The card that clarifies this is the Six of Pentacles, and this to me speaks all about making sure you're spending energy with the right people, but also finding balance in giving yourself. You need to make sure that you're not overplaying your position and giving too much of yourself, so then you've not got enough energy for your own goals. But also you need to make sure that you're not going into hermit mode. This collective need to find balance in their energies, but it's not about going into hermit mode. It's not about isolating yourself away and hiding your light or nourishing it only for you. It's about just making sure that when you're giving to people, that you're giving the right amount to people, and you're not overplaying your position. It's important that we acknowledge that there's quite a lot of balance that this collective needs. I feel like maybe you are guilty of giving too much of yourself in terms of, here we go, in terms of your 10 of Cups. Maybe when it comes to the person that you actually care about and the connections that you're trying to nourish, you do give a lot of your power, you give a lot of your warmth, and that comes quite naturally to you because you are the King of Swords. And that's not gender specific. That's someone who stands strong in their power, somebody who trusts their own thought process and basically just stands strong and says, I can do this and I can take this on. There is something here as well about the King of Swords with butterflies, and I always say that with the Queen of Swords as well. I always feel like the Queen of Swords needs to undergo that transformational journey, but the King of Swords is ready to take on whatever comes in front of them. It's about acknowledging that we do need to be adaptable, and we can't have a real set, rigid way of thinking. We need to be flexible if we want to sit on that throne. And ultimately, you need to acknowledge that if you give too much of your energy and too much of your own power away, it's not always going to make people happy. There's something here that you need to find a balance in when it comes to your 10 of Cups, when it comes to your emotional fulfillment, your family, the life that you're trying to build. And I think that you've got a lot of energy, but you're just very guilty of nourishing other people before you nourish yourself. It's almost like you're nourishing a whole village before you start turning your attention to you. So please acknowledge that you do need to find balance, and you need to actually be a bit more like the King of Swords and be a little bit more reserved in your energy. Sit back and see what things truly need your attention, or what things can sort themselves out. For example, a king wouldn't get involved in every aspect of the court. There's different people at different levels to actually sort out these problems. So just make sure that you're choosing what to give your reaction to, or you're choosing where to give your guidance. And ultimately, you need to be like the King of Pentacles. You need to be standing strong on your throne and being in a position where you have got everything sorted for yourself. All of your ducks are in a row, and then you can start focusing on other people. But the King of Pentacles to me also speaks a little bit about reminiscing about the past as well. I don't know why, but it gives me a very reminiscent energy here. So maybe past people or past connections have made you feel like you need to do more, or you need to overplay your position, but ultimately you need to get your head and your heart into alignment. You can't keep going through life giving too much of yourself to people, or giving too much of yourself to work, or anything in any situation. You can't overextend the energy that you're giving to things, because ultimately you're nourishing all of these other things rather than yourself, and you need to make sure that you're doing that for the right reasons. The Seven of Cups to me is a bit of a magpie card. It's looking at your manifestations, looking at the things that you want, but ultimately, are you doing it for the right reason? I'm always drawn to the snake in the top of the cup, and I'd say that sometimes things aren't always as shiny as they might seem. So again, just make sure you're finding the balance when you're dealing with people. You're seeing people and places for how they truly are and how they truly present themselves, rather than how you want them to. And if there's something that you're being drawn towards, then now is a really good time to act on it. You need to start acting on your own inspiration, your own intuition, and ultimately acknowledge that you need to keep putting the work in order for this abundance to come through. But you need to start focusing on yourself. You can't be pouring into everybody else and trying to expand your own life. You need to make sure that you're focusing solely on you and not everybody else. And you need to make sure that you can clearly see a way forward as well. Don't allow all of these other things to block you from nourishing yourself and the things that you're trying to build for you, because ultimately you are the person who's going to stand next to you. You are the person who's got to live your life. So make sure that you're putting down all of this emotional baggage and you're nourishing yourself and not everybody else. Please do drop me a comment. Let me know if this reading resonated, and I'd also appreciate if you could subscribe, because it helps the readings reach a wider collective. And I'll see you, pile 3, on the next one. Well, collective, those are your 3 channeled messages for today. I really hope they helped. And if you made it this far, please give the video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. And I'd also be really keen to hear in the comments which pile you chose. So I'll see you on the next one.